Let's begin. It's Monday night, and I appreciate you guys getting on. But before we begin to talk about the form topic today, I want to touch on a couple of things, and that is the calls for Emerald group and the Dash to Diamond group are on Thursdays. And the live webinar that I've been talking about for a couple of days now is every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, which go ahead and adjust your time to wherever time zone you're at. And I will be posting actually a link to register for What is Coaching webinar on our team page right after the call. I already had that created, and so what you will do is actually click on that link and go ahead and register with your name and email address. And the webinar will be running for at least 60 days every single Wednesday at the same time. Those are the live webinars. Right now we're working on getting a recording done, so you guys will be able to utilize that recording should you have somebody interested, and the webinar is not until Wednesday, and so that will save you a little bit of time and allow you guys to follow up with somebody who's interested without waiting. And what I will be doing tonight actually is posting a little picture saying that we will be having, our team will be having a What is Coaching webinar, and that will be on Wednesday, and I will be inviting people basically to either comment or message me or like the post if they would like a link. And if they do reach out to me and they want to get that link, I will be private messaging them the link so they can join, they register, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let's see here. I think that's pretty much it. I was gonna go over all the new coaches on the team, but unfortunately, for some reason, the Team Beachbody site for me to look up all that information is down, and has been for a whole day today. But I'm pretty sure that they're doing some maintenance, and so I just checked about 10 minutes ago, and they're still not working. So I will have to do that new coach shout out sometime next time. So. Okay, so we covered just little steps here and there, but what I wanted to start with is basically explaining why I wanted to talk about the form. And what that form is, obviously this is an abbreviation. Form stands for family, occupation, recreation, and message. Okay, so you guys probably would message every soul on your list without even establishing some kind of a relationship, right? I personally have done that before, and it's a big no-no, because people, when they open up that message, they go, what the heck? What is that? And they don't even understand what's going on. And so when I first started, I had no idea. I thought that, you know, I will post and tell everybody about this amazing workout program on Shakeology, and everybody would be buying that stuff like it's hot cakes that are going out of business. But that is not exactly what happened. And so I started to learn that relationship is actually where the magic happens. And that's how you guys will grow from just a coach to actually creating your own team, and a team of devoted coaches who will see your vision, because they will relate to you. So let's get on the meat of the call, shall we? Okay, so I already touched and explained what forming means. And let's kind of dig a little bit deep into the home form aspect, because Beachbody has been talking about forming people for like since day one, since they created themselves. And the reason being is because this formula has been such an amazing thing to follow that it has produced a lot of people who have been successful, not only in Beachbody business or maybe their own business and personal life and professional life and whatever it is. It's just a great formula to utilize in every aspect of your daily activities. Actually, the forming formula came out of a book by Dani Johnson. I know that I've posted a book itself, a link to the book on the team page. And if you guys want to scroll down a little bit, you will find that the link should still be there. I highly recommend everybody reads it because Dani talks about the relationships and how that will either make or break your business. And she is doing a fantastic job explaining why forming is so super important. And the book is, by the way, is called First Steps to Success. She is an entrepreneur and author, and she's pretty exciting lady. So she's pretty animated, and she is just talking really loud, but she's really fun to listen to. And this concept about relationships, that's where Beachbody got it from. It's actually from Dani Johnson because it works so well. Okay, so let's kind of decipher the whole form thing. So family, right? When you talk to somebody, you, first of all, if you don't even know them or you barely know them, we want to start asking questions because we don't want to sound interesting. We want to be interested. And everybody likes to talk about themselves. This is just the true of life. You know, people love attention, maybe not this crazy amount of attention, but at least somebody who is paying attention at what they're doing and ask them questions. And so the first part of this formula is family. So when you start talking to people, you can ask them about where they're from, married or single, have kids, of course, depending, you know, where the conversation takes you. What are the ages of the kids and what do they like to do? Or do they like where they live? Things that are related to family. And then you can move along to occupation. And maybe ask them what they're doing for a living and how long have they been doing that, and did they have to go to school for that, and if they enjoy their job, and if they want to eventually switch the jobs. Just pretty much self-explanatory questions that will lead you to get to know the new person a little bit better and understand what they're all about. Okay, the R stands for recreation. What do they like to do for fun? How often do they get to do that? How do they get involved in this whole thing anyway? And would they like to do it more often? Okay, so this is basically something, if somebody's into photography and you just ask them, hey, I just saw a picture on your Facebook and I just love it. Did you take a picture of that? And that can apply to anything. And so when you guys start basically implementing these questions, that doesn't mean that you have to ask them like a questionnaire about single, married, kids, names, and things like that. Just kind of improvise, but be sure to ask at least a question or two when you're shooting messages back and forth or even chatting on the phone, that at least person gets to talk about themselves a little bit. Now, when the new person gets a little bit more comfortable with you asking questions like that and getting to know them, only then you can actually share your message. And what that message is, you will actually either talk about what you were going to offer them or how you were going to help them. But I can guarantee you that you sometimes don't even have to go to step number, 4 to the message, because people naturally will start asking you questions because you've been so nice and polite, sincerely polite, that they will be starting to feel that curiosity growing towards you and they want to ask you questions. And so the simple formula, I think, and I know because I've met all these successful coaches who've been in business for 3 to 4 years, will actually change every area of your life. When you are forming people, you guys, you're looking for their signs. And I'm not talking about horoscope or anything like that. I'm talking about, let's say it stands for strengths, interests, goals, and needs. And when you actually establish all that knowledge and you learn about their life, it will create that bond between you and another person. And they feel important, not in a cocky way, but in a good way, because somebody took time to learn about them. Our society is so fast-paced that we never take time to actually ask a lot of questions because we're always in a hurry. And text messages are TY, thank you, or, you know, things like that. So we shorten everything. But when somebody actually takes time and learns about another person, that's a breath of fresh air. And so they will really value that approach, and they will really like that. And when people know that you care, they will recommend you. Just like when you go to a restaurant and you really like it, you will recommend a restaurant. Just like when you go to a hairdresser and you absolutely love that person, wouldn't you recommend it to all your friends? That goes the same thing for everybody. And so let's say, here's an example for you. When you are at a checker station at a grocery store and you've been sincerely, honestly forming somebody, maybe you know the checker's name who's been there for a little while, or you know that he or she's got kids or grandkids or whatever, and you guys establish that really good relationship, and here you are with some groceries and this person goes, hey, I don't know if you knew that, but this item right here is on sale and I see you don't have a coupon. Here, I have one. I'll scan it for you. Wouldn't you love that? I would, for sure. I mean, this person took time out of their day because you were treating them the right way and actually helped you out in return. And so that kind of stuff goes a long way. And it's not really rocket science for you guys to see that we should be really forming everywhere we go, from work to grocery store to events to social media. And here's the key: do it whether you will benefit from it or not. I know that kind of sounds strange. You got to go form people, but trust me, it's the law of reaping and sowing. I'm sure all of you guys have been in a situation to where you have done so stinking much for somebody and you put your whole heart into something, and maybe you gave someone shelter, or maybe you fed somebody, or maybe it was just a kind word. And so if, God forbid, something happens and you are calling that person a few months later thinking, hey, I know, you know, we had that relationship and things like that, maybe, just maybe, I can count on that person to get back. And the person never talks to you or even responds to the message. And you would instantly think, man, how dare he, right? I've done all that stuff for him, you know, all that XYZ that happened to him, and he's just not responding and don't want to help me. Well, guess what? That's not how it works, though. Someone else who you don't know may be extending you a helping hand instead. And so you doing good just returned to you through a different person. You guys can't influence really anybody or get to a high level of influence of any kind if your heart is not in the right place. And so be sincere when you build relationships. You know, it's funny because when we talk through messages and phones, people can hear and feel on the other end whether it's sincere or not. That's just the honest truth. You know, that's just how it works. And so what I'm doing is working for me. And here's what I do. I build a list of new people that I'm going to be building relationships with. And a second list of those who are aware of what I'm doing, or maybe I'm going to be inviting them for the second time. And so I will go ahead and follow up with those people about a challenge group and maybe looking into the coaching opportunity. The reason I'm doing that is because the seeds are usually sprouting at a different time. And so if I do my due diligence and I consistently work my list every single month, a different list, it's going to sprout no matter what. Because if somebody's not ready, the person from December will sprout finally. And they will need something. Maybe they're deciding to become a coach. Or maybe they will want to join a challenge group. So you just never know. So it's always good to have those two different lists. One working on relationships and learning about people. And another one is basically following up constantly with people who were not ready, or maybe it was a no, not right now. And by the way, you guys, if you are not building a list with all the email addresses of people that you're talking with, you should probably start like tonight if you have time. And the reason I say that is because list is basically your everything. If Facebook crashes, we don't know. If Instagram crashes, all these conversations and all this information, maybe with somebody that you had, that you were chatting about something, it's gone. And so if you have that list with email addresses, you can easily follow up with that person or continue your relationship, even if the whole social media platform crashes. And so that's just kind of a little advice. I did not keep a list for a very long time. I just did my little paper thing. And I have started creating a list now just on my computer, regardless, just an email address and a name. And so I would highly recommend that you guys do that. Okay, so you have a list of people, right? And I would have that list, I'll build that list, and I would sit there and I would just sit there and stare at it, and I wouldn't know what to do with it. And names would just kind of be not having any meaning to me because I wouldn't know the people. So what would I talk to people about, right? So don't feel awkward writing that very first message. I felt awkward a lot of the times because you're kind of reaching out and people go, oh, who is she? I'm not sure who she is. If it's a new relationship, don't rush it. Just a simple message to start with. Because if you do try to rush it or start inviting them to all that stuff, they will basically run the other way, and you don't want that to happen. I don't know if you guys know, but there's such a thing, they say, a power of hello. Just a simple hello. Nothing complicated. And so I think we tend to forget the power of hello. Me also. You can say it face-to-face. You can say it on Facebook. You can say it on Instagram. And for instance, if you're out and about, you see a girl who is standing picking out apples, where you're trying to pick out apples. And you look at her and you say hi. She says hi back. So what do you say next? Well, you look at her hat and it's an ugly hat. You just don't like her hat. That's not your style. But you look at her shoes, not stare, but quickly look at her shoes and you'll love the shoes. Well, we're sincere people here. We're not going to lie about her hat. We're going to pick something that we really enjoy. And so if you say, hey, I really like your shoes. Where did you get those? And she'll say, well, I got them from whatever, I don't know, Target or something. And you say, oh, wow, I love Nikes. I don't know about you, but I'm totally obsessing over Nikes. Do you work out? Because you obviously wear your Nike shoes to the grocery store. And she might say, no, not really. I just love Nikes so much. And conversation will just continue on, of course, if nobody's in a too much of a hurry. And you don't have to drag it out for hours. And then eventually you build that little first step to get to know a person. And what I usually do is I say, hey, are you on Facebook at all? Oh my gosh, you've got some cute shoes and maybe you have more. And I don't know, maybe we can catch up later. You can see all my shoe obsessions too on Facebook on my page. That's it. And if the girl says, yeah, okay, fine. If not, hey, you just talk to somebody and you practice your forming right there. You don't even have to get scared about it, feel weird about it. You guys were doing a similar activity and you just happen to stand next to each other. I think we forget how powerful that conversation could possibly be for somebody. Maybe that person didn't have anybody to talk to today. Maybe they just need that little attention and somebody tell them and appreciate them in a most sincere way that they just have cool shoes. So that's basically how I would approach, and I do when I'm out and about, when I do leave the house. And so if you guys are starting to form on social media and meet new people, I would highly recommend that you at least add to your network 3 to 5 people, new people. And one thing that I learned, because I was almost put on the Facebook jail, they call it a Facebook jail, is because I was sending out requests and not everybody will actually accept them. And the old requests will be sitting there. You can actually find out if you go to friends, and I think friends requests or something like that, and then view my requests and clean out that, that area. because Facebook may actually think that you're spamming people. If you have, I think, like 15 or 20 requests sitting there, be sure to delete them before you start adding new people, because you can end up losing your access to your account for Facebook for like a week or two, and that happened before, or even shut down. So keep your eyes peeled on that one. Okay, so you added 3 to 5 people, start forming them, you know, and what happens if they don't answer? Some people just don't recognize the name maybe, and when you send them, hey, a message saying, hey, I just added you as a friend, hope you don't mind. I came across, you're a friend of a friend, and I came across your profile, and I noticed that you're into swimming. And oh my gosh, I love swimming. Or I like to read magazines. Something, find something in common to start that conversation with the person. And so you can't control really if they answer you or not. And so don't worry if they don't, or maybe you guys haven't communicated for quite a while. That's totally okay. Maybe once in a while, just shoot them a message and say, if it's a Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day if they have kids, or say that you are happy for them because of XYZ that just happened in their life if you do follow their page on a consistent basis. Like a comment of their pictures, show some care. And people who don't really answer you, they will start to take notice that you actually not a weirdo or anything like that, that you actually took interest in their life and you are not after them for something very specific. While majority of people would actually go the opposite road and start sending stuff out to them and saying, hey, you got to look at this, you got to do that, before even building that relationship, I would personally consider that spamming. And I honestly, you guys, I had done that a time or two, even more. I'm not proud of it, but I was so super excited and in love with the product that I just couldn't just keep my mouth shut. You know, I just wanted to invite everybody without even thinking that I probably look like or sound like those people with whatever they sell, I don't know, candles or something, and everybody's just posting on Facebook, okay, my order's going in on Friday, you better order right now because I need to reach that level of something and something. That is not very good, you know, that's just white noise that people just ignore, because people know right there and then that they're after something, you know, they're after your money and they just want to pawn the product onto you. And so you guys are more than just Beachbody coaches, and you are your own brand. You have your own niche, you're your own person. People can buy Shakeology from anywhere. I mean, literally, we have 250,000 coaches. They can buy Shakeology or join someone's challenge group, and it's not even a problem. They can go to Shakeology.com, for goodness sakes, and buy Shakeology, or Beachbody.com. They will buy from you because you gave them value and you were interested in them. And so that relationship creating is not just that bad thing, you know, that we're all after here. It's actually a science almost, because I would not want to be treated, you know, sending out a bunch of stuff that I have no clue about. And so I want to treat my people exact same way, and it's important to me. And I know that you guys will be a lot more successful if you just be patient and allow that relationship to blossom. Sometimes you don't even have to go through the whole forming thing, because people will see that and they're so hungry for that relationship, for that somebody paying attention and actually asking them questions in this busy world. They'll say, hey, what are you doing? So I saw your picture. They will literally start stalking your page, not in a bad way, but in a good way. And so, you know, some people just need that first step of acknowledging that there's somebody. And so that will be a good thing to always keep in mind when you start building relationships. And of course, your posts are always 80-20, which is 80 your life, your interest, your hobby, whatever. And then, of course, Beachbody as a brand is going to be your another 20%. And the reason I say that is because when I first started, I would definitely say, I work out, I drink Shakeology. Then I work out, I drink Shakeology, and that was all I was talking about. My gosh, I can only imagine how annoying I would probably be. I was probably sounding to some of the people, you know. And the worst thing is I have never been added or add anybody to those pages, the events. I would always ask permission. But my goodness, if you are added without your permission to one of those groups, it's like the worst, literally, you guys. And so having that respect for people and really seeing the value in them and sincerely wanting to build relationships, I promise you it will pay tenfold. And even for the hesitant customers who takes a month or 2 or 3 or 4 to actually step over that barrier and actually jump on the wagon and see the value, it's okay. People come at different stages of their life, and then they actually jump on the wagon when they're ready. And so I can tell you guys one thing. Building relationships never stops. Whether you earn $500 a month or you earn $1 million a month. Of course, you know, when you're starting to get up there in the Beachbody community, a lot of more people will be coming to you without you having to invite too many people. But still, that work never, ever ends. It is very important to start off your relationship with your customer the right way. And so that non-invasive, the very first non-invasive message is super important. Just want to kind of reiterate all that stuff. Okay, so I was searching Google today and I saw statistics. Did you guys know that #1 reason why people quit their jobs is because they don't like their boss or coworker? I was that person. I hated my job. Nobody ever put any value on me at all. I was just a number, just doing my job, sitting at a desk in a corner, just crazy. Now, if they were putting a little bit more value on me, I would have probably stayed there for a little longer, but thank goodness they didn't in this case. But the reason why people are walking away and don't want anything to do with any of the companies is because they have no way of even getting that value, that getting kudos on the pat on the back for anything at all, whether they're just a good person or they're doing a great job. And so forming is so totally applicable in every area of our life. Let me get rid of this little pop-up right here real quick. We're almost done. Okay. So last but not least, I want you guys to know that if somebody doesn't answer your message and you've messaged a ton of people and you've done everything right, but there's still nothing happening, don't feel bad. It's totally normal. You will hear no's, a lot of no's. I hear no's all the time, and there's a lot of them. I want to tell you a quick story about a dog. An elderly couple was sitting on the porch, and there was a dog right next to them, and it keeps just whining and whining and whining. Finally, somebody asked, well, what's wrong with the dog? And an old lady goes, well, it's laying on the nail. Well, why would it move? Because it probably doesn't hurt enough, bad enough for him to move. And so when I don't hear back from people, or people are going to start coming up with excuses as to why they reached out to me, let's say, and they wanted to ready to go and get their journey on their way, but they are just not quite starting, I personally think that it's probably not their time yet. They're probably not sick and tired of being sick and tired, whether it's their financial situation or their health and fitness situation, or in general, just a positive outlook on life, because as coaches, we tend to stay a little bit more positive than the rest. And so I never, ever truly really get upset too much, because I know that eventually that person will have a reason, a pretty strong why, to get back to me or just start their journey. And so if they're not responding to you and you're seeing them spending that amount of money elsewhere the next day, it's okay. You know, the time is not there yet. It must not be hurting bad enough. And when it does, when you keep on inspiring and living your journey and keep building those relationships, and they will see that you're growing and helping more people, they will come around. Majority do, trust me. It's happened time and time again for me as well. And so I never ever try to shove the Shakeology down anyone's throat or make them work out, because in the end, I can't knock on everyone's door in the morning and say, hey, get your butt out of your bed, go drink your shake, and get to work and get your invites done. That goes for everybody, both challengers and coaches. And so if something is not happening for that person and you just try your hardest to help that person, invite them or motivate them, and it's just not happening for them, it's okay. Just make sure that they know when they're ready, you'll be there for them. That's it. That's all they need to know. And once in a while, follow up and say, or like a picture or comment in the picture and say, hey, just was thinking about you. Hope you're doing well. That's all. And so I think that's very important, because that forming that relationship that you had started building with them and something had happened and interrupted that forming, I don't think that really went to waste, because you just learned something about another person. And that's super, super important, because you could be someone else's person, their saving grace, if you will. And so never underestimate anybody who you talk to, whether it's a complete no, maybe not right now, or anything like that. Just keep forming people, and I promise you it will pay off. I want to finish out this call, because I think we're almost done. I think we'll have about 5 minutes left, with this quote that I posted, put on the announcement about the team call. And that is, if you have, oh, hold on a second. Okay. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough people get what they want. In this business, that is 120% truth. Whatever you do for other people will come back tenfold. That's just the way it works. Somebody gets healthy and fit, they will tell 10 other people that you were super supportive. Somebody becomes an outstanding coach and gets their family out of debt, or maybe they go on a vacation, or maybe they can help somebody with the income that they made through Beachbody. Guess what? They will think about you. And when you help enough people, all that stuff gets back to you, and you eventually get what you want. And so when you start building those relationships, you guys, always think about Zig Ziglar in this quote, because in reality, we're in business to where together we're actually achieving more than by ourselves. Other kind of businesses, they're all out there for themselves. This business, it's a completely different story. If you guys are not successful, your coach is not successful. And trust me, if that coach is wanting to be successful, they're gonna not sleep at all until you guys, of course, if you want to, become successful. And so in the end, Zig Ziglar is totally right. Whether it's a challenger or a coach, that's just like this perfect description of what Beachbody coaching is all about. So I want to thank you guys for being on the call, and I will be sure to post recording right away. So thanks again, and I will be seeing you guys on Thursday, whether you're in a group Dash Diamond or Coach General. Have a good night.